MENA region. The central banks of both Egypt and Turkey are going to announce their latest interest rate decisions today. They grapple with rising inflation. Simone Foxman is counting down to those announcements. Let's start off with Egypt. Consensus there that they are going to hike as well. What are some of the finer minutes?
Yeah, the consensus is that 14.6% year-on-year inflation that we saw in August, the highest in almost 4 years, is finally going to push the central bank to move after 2 meetings where they held rates steady. The question really, the magnitude of the hike. You were just talking to Ryan, who said he believes 100 basis points, but the median estimate of economists is more like 50 basis points. However, in a survey of Bloomberg economists, 11 of them, 5 out of 11 believe that we were going to get that full 100 basis point move. So we'll see what happens, the exact number there. All this, though, being seen as a future test of where the central bank may choose to go. We have a new central bank governor. This is one of his first meetings, really having sufficient time to be in this role. And meanwhile, we have this intrigue with the IMF about a potential IMF loan. The IMF has pushed for more flexible exchange rates. We have seen, as you can see from this GTV Go chart, investors increasingly looking for a weaker pound. So that's going to be the particular focus for investors today. What does the central bank say, if anything at all, about their view on foreign exchange rate and exchange rate policy generally? Bloomberg Intelligence, for one, believes that the resignation of the former governor and the introduction of this one may actually signal a change in that policy.
The Turkish lira, in the meantime, is at a record low. I was looking at a chart from all the way 1981 to today on dollar lira, and it's one of the few times I can use the word parabolic. What are we going to get from the central bank over there?
Well, we could actually get a bit of a surprise. We have a GTV Go that kind of shows the situation of where inflation is and the fact that we've kept interest rates at a very low level. But we saw a shock interest rate cut last meeting, and there are a small minority of analysts who actually believe we could see yet another one. This all driven by that paper-thin wall between the central bank and President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who's been pushing for low interest rates, even cuts to interest rates in order to ramp up the economy ahead of elections that have to happen by the middle of next year. Morgan Stanley, UniCredit, and Citigroup among those that believe we could see a 50 to 100 basis point cut. But as you said, lira already weakest against the U.S. dollar on record. Stocks and bonds, even when we saw that shock cut, didn't really make enormous moves. And so investors probably going to be thinking about at least how to play that if we do see some sort of surprise, which looks maybe on the downside.
And then from monetary policy, some corporate news, a Bloomberg scoop actually. Sources are saying that Abu Dhabi national oil company ADNOC, they're considering a deal to buy all or part of the commodity trading house Gunvor Group. Put that in context for us.
Yeah, Gunvor, one of the world's largest oil trading firms after the likes of Vitol, Trafigura, and Glencore. Sovereign wealth funds, various Gulf entities have been particularly active investors in commodity trading firms of late. And Gunvor, in addition to its oil trading prowess, also has pushed a lot into LNG futures, natural gas generally, and some other energy-related kind of assets. So we don't know if this is actually going to go through. We understand these are pretty early stage talks. We don't have any real good sense of valuation, but we do understand that ADNOC would be considering maybe combining the, all or part of Gunvor with its own trading arm. This as various players across this region really ramp up their trading capabilities. That's what we've seen. We'll see if this does go through.